to the Starting Five podcast, podcast where we're going to talk about mostly sports and mix in some news and notes from around the world. My name is Corey Stoller. I'm here with...
You're here with Mr. Brian Duget.
And the Super Bowl has just wrapped up, which means the NBA trading deadline has just wrapped up as we head into the All-Star break. So why don't we touch on some of the things that we thought were interesting or helpful to some of the teams that made some moves during the trade deadline. I think
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think clearly there's one big trade that everybody is going to assume is going to put one team into the favorites for the championship. There's another big move, but I think there's still a lot to be seen as that team is now 0-2 after their trade. But why don't we get started? What did you think I was talking about with the big move?
If I had to make a guess, I would say what's his name? Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I think he's only the best player in the league.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. You know?
Is he the best player? Is he the best player ever to be traded mid-season?
I would say in this era, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't see guys of his caliber get traded that.
Yeah, no, but the thing is too, you can make an argument and say that Kyrie Irving,
yeah,
he got traded right before the deadline.
But that was the other one, and the Mavericks are now 0-2 with both their superstars on the court.
Are they 0-2?
At least 0-2. I think they play again tonight would be the third, because they played, I think, 2 games without Luka, and then now they played 2 games with Luka and Kyrie.
Okay, I thought it was 3 games without Luka, but no, you could be right.
I might be right.
The thing is, the only Kevin I follow is my son.
Yeah.
You know, and he has. I'm gonna put this out there. He has a regional game tomorrow versus the team that beat them in the districts, but we were able to slide in, and we had a selection show on the day of the Super Bowl. And the school made it into the regionals, and they're going to play this team that beat them in the district championship. So it's
a rematch.
Yeah, somewhat of a rematch.
Looking forward to it.
Hey, I would love for you to come down. You know, I would host you crazy.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And,
when is the game?
It's tomorrow night, 7 o'clock.
If I could make it, I would make it.
Listen, you want me to fly you out
here? If they win, we'll talk about me coming down there.
Okay. All right. That works.
There you go.
Yeah, that definitely works.
That would be fun. I would enjoy that. Basketball is a sport I could watch at any level.
I mean, basketball, like I literally eat, and I don't know if FCC is going to be on me, but eat, shit, and breathe basketball.
FCC doesn't touch podcasts. We're good.
Okay, all right, so we're good.
I was actually just talking to a guy yesterday who played against Elgin Baylor in high school.
Oh, really?
He said every time Elgin Baylor touched the ball, everybody stopped and watched. They couldn't believe how good the guy was.
I feel like that's my son.
Yeah.
Oh, remind me to send you the video if I haven't.
But Tim Hardaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even that.
That's
That's
old news. That's last week's news.
Yeah, that's last week's news. Yeah. So let me ask you this: What team do you think did the best in the trade deadline?
Well, so these are my thoughts. It's rare that you see a team make a big move and make it to the NBA Finals. I think the stats I was reading was 4 of the last 23 seasons, a team had added a significant piece and went on to win the championship.
Okay.
One of those teams was the Bucks, and they added PJ Tucker. So we're not talking about anywhere near the level of Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant being added to a team, leading to success. And I think my thoughts are really that you got to give up too much depth to add a guy like Kevin Durant. You know, giving up Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson are 2 big pieces of that rotation. And then it takes time to learn to play with those guys.
Well, and didn't they also send like 7,000 picks?
Oh, it's a first round pick every other year through like 2029, at least, if not 2031.
So my
But
question to you
mm,
is: do you believe the Suns made the best move in regards to winning right now, in regards to building after they win?
winning in the future, if they can add depth to that team, yes. I don't think this helps them too much this year. I think it makes them dangerous, and you got to watch out for them. But Kyrie Irving said something after they got swept by the Celtics last year, and he said those guys on the other side, they're gelling right now. We're not gelling, and the reason was he didn't play. He didn't play enough all season with that team for that team to figure it out. So you're adding Kevin Durant to Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and DeAndre Ayton. They gotta learn to play with each other. They gotta know each other's tendencies
But let me ask you this question:
for this season at least.
if I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and I was talking about my son and how he plays and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a all-star on your team,
Mm-hmm.
and you bring in another like all-star per se,
Right.
you're telling me that the Suns don't have it right now? Like you're saying that they
Not
can't
when it comes
win
to the
with
playoffs.
KD?
Not when it gets to the playoffs. When it comes to the playoffs and you're playing teams that have played with each other all year, I think that gives the other team the edge if they're well coached. Which, if you're in the playoffs and you're making a deep run in the playoffs, I think you find a way to stop those guys. There's another story I'm going to tell that I just read an article about. You remember a guy, Brian Scalabrine?
Oh, that's my man from the Celtics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he
that's my guy
said,
right there.
yeah. So he did a one-on-one tournament. I forget what they called it. It was something catchy with his name. He did like a one-on-one tournament where he played just regular guys who thought he was trash. And he looked at every single one of them. He said, "I'm close. I'm much closer to LeBron than you are to me."
Oh wow.
The guys he played, they were legitimate players. They just weren't NBA players. And his defense was so good, they couldn't score on him. And pretty much what he said was, when you're studying the game at the level that they're playing the game at, you know what the other guy's going to do. It's just a matter of positioning yourself and getting yourself there more so than anything else, because he was an NBA player. He's on another level than these other guys that tried to play him. And he knew what they were going to do. He was reading their body language and figuring out what they were going to do before they did it. So for Kevin Durant to go into a situation without any off-season play or game time with Booker, who's an all-star, Paul is an all-star, Aiton's probably on the verge of being an all-star. He's right on that cusp
Yes.
with some of
Yes.
his play.
I agree. I agree.
So now is it you bring in the best player in the league? Does Booker start deferring? Is Booker still going to be as aggressive as he's been? Paul, I think, will be okay because I feel like Paul has been around for a long time and probably played with Durant enough to kind of figure out how to fit with him. But I think there's just going to be moments in games in the playoffs where they're not going to know exactly what to do, and the other side is going to know exactly what everybody on their team is doing.
I like how you diverted to that type of scenario because
Yeah.
you could say the same thing with, and I'm not trying to like jump off topic, but you
Yeah.
could say the same thing with Kyrie and Luca.
Hmm. Yeah. I think they've got a lot more to figure out, especially because of the way they both play.
I'll tell you this: I believe Durant
Hmm.
can actually fit in easier with the Suns than Luca
Yeah.
and Kyrie,
That I agree with. That I absolutely agree with.
because those are two ball dominant guys.
Right. Right.
Like I'm talking about ball dominant.
Yeah.
Like Kyrie's dropping like a 40-point triple double.
Well,
And
what's the best thing with Kyrie? What's his best attribute as a player?
his best attribute, everybody knows this, is his
It's his
handles.
handling, which
Yeah,
means the ball's got to be in his hands.
yeah, exactly. Like I
And
said.
what does Luka do? Luka does everything with the
And
ball in his hands.
Luca is the same way. He's like the European Kyrie. If that like if that's something, like he's the
Yeah,
European Kyrie. You know what I mean?
he does. He's in my mind. He's a progression from Jason Kidd and a Magic Johnson,
Oh my
who
God, I
can
love.
also drop 60 points.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I completely agree with you
Uh,
there.
So the ball is always the offense is going through Luka. Kyrie's always had the offense going through him,
Correct.
except for maybe when he was with LeBron. But that was such a disjointed offense in my mind that they never really
And why do you think he left the Cavaliers?
right. Well, he was trying to get back to LA.
He was because he's realizing, like, you know what?
Yeah,
I need to win a
right.
chip.
Yeah,
I need to win the chip again, and I
right.
could do it with LeBron and
He knows he can
AD's
do it
over
with
there,
LeBron.
and
Hmm.
they got a couple. They have a couple of other pieces, but
Right,
yeah, LA is not that. That's another conversation for
right.
another scenario.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot Luka and Kyrie have to figure out, and I think Jason Kidd has to figure out the rotation so that they can both be on the court without the other one for stretches.
So since we're talking about guards,
Hmm.
what's up with Lonzo and the Bulls?
I don't know if Lonzo's ever going to play again. I forget what his injury was, but it wasn't. It didn't come
It's a knee.
across as
It's a knee
a knee.
injury.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a tear. It was like a
No,
bruise,
yeah,
and he's been
but
out for more than a year.
but they're gonna tell you it's not it's not a tear or whatever. They're gonna tell you
Mm,
what you want to hear. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
something's off there, and I think because of that, it's hard to move a guy.
let me ask you this:
Mm.
why doesn't Chicago make a move and like grab somebody? Whether it's
Well,
a maybe they buy out. Not that I'm a fan of his, but
mm,
you know who I'm talking about. The guy from the he was on the Lakers. He was on the Timberwolves before. You know who I'm talking about.
Zach Levine,
No. I'm talking
no,
about
oh, Patrick
Mr.
Beverly.
Yeah, Mr.
Uh,
Beverly.
I was thinking they could if Westbrook gets bought out by Utah, he could end up with the Bulls.
Yeah,
I think
but
the
the
Bulls
thing
feel
is,
like they might be right there. They're just playing so bad.
is is Lonzo's career done?
I think Lonzo's career might be close to done.
Is he reminiscent of Brandon Roy?
It could be. It could be degenerative knees.
Yeah.
That's too bad. He was just
And the
starting
thing
to figure out
is,
his shot too.
he's such a talent, you know.
Yeah, he was just figuring out his shot too when he got hurt, and I think
Yeah,
that was making him a really good player.
yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I
So,
agree.
so what do you think? What team? So, what team do you think made the best move? That could be a sneaky move
Oh man.
that
I
put
mean,
them in a situation, or the worst move. What team do you think made the worst move
well, I think Chicago made the worst moves. They
by
didn't
not
really
doing
do
anything?
anything.
Fair. That's fair. Who made the
You
worst
can't.
moves but did something?
I don't think that I can say that a team made the worst move because everybody did something to
Yeah.
like my thing is I believe the best move
Hmm.
possible was the Bucks
Yeah.
acquiring oh boy.
Jay Crowder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Because
up there
he
for me.
first of all, he has like a chip on his shoulder
Right.
and that's just an added piece because the Bucks have players, they have
They have players. Well, and I referenced it earlier, but one of the teams to make a move and win was the Bucks with PJ Tucker a few years ago.
yeah, correct. Yeah.
Jay
Think about
Crowder,
it.
Jay Crowder could be a better PJ Tucker.
I
He's
believe he is a
more
better PJ
mobile
Tucker.
PJ Tucker. You know,
Yeah,
he's shoot. He moves around. He can pass. He does a little bit of everything,
I'm gonna
and
say this:
he's
PJ
physical.
Tucker is defensive
Mm-hmm.
versus where Jay Crowder is more a little
That's
bit
a
offensive.
little more mobile on offense.
Yeah,
PJ Tucker, you put him in the corner, you get him a corner three, he'll knock it down.
yeah,
Crowder will move around, get himself open, and knock down shots.
Yeah.
I also think another sneaky pickup was Mike Muscala going to the Celtics, who's played a couple of big games now for the Celtics.
Yeah, to be honest, I
Another
think
big shooter.
Celtics are in a good position.
Celtics are in a good
They're
position.
playing well. They're playing
Yeah.
well. It sucks because I think Jaylen Brown just had a facial injury.
Yeah.
And he's out. There's no timeline on.
Yeah, I did see that on his return.
So, but the Celtics are still in a good position. When they
Celtics
get
are in a good position.
Marcus Smart back and all these other guys that are injured or whatever.
I don't know if you saw the game last night, but they pushed Milwaukee to overtime and really had they were up 5 in overtime before losing, and everybody was out. Smart still out, Brown was out, Tatum sat, Horford sat, Robert Williams is banged up, and they still pushed the Bucks to overtime last night in Milwaukee.
Wow.
But yeah, so I think Mike Muscala coming off the bench for that team with Robert Williams and Al Horford, he's going to give them good minutes as a bench player.
Yeah. So
And
I mean, in terms of
answering
your question, I think the Spurs had the worst. Like they were terrible in terms of trying to do trades and
would they trade Jakob Poeltl?
Yeah,
that was a little sneaky pickup for the Raptors, picking up Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I think I question the Timberwolves the most. I don't know what they did.
I mean, we'll see though, because I mean, there's still time where we could see buyouts happen.
Yeah, that's true. They traded. In my mind, they were an up and coming team. I know Karl Anthony Towns has been hurt, but Anthony Edwards has been balling out. Russell has been he's averaging 17, 3, and 6, which is a good stat line on a team as a third guy on that team. He's 26 years old. Everybody, all 3 of those guys are under 27, and they traded him for Mike Conley, 35-year-old Mike Conley, and a couple of second-round picks. Yeah, I thought they had their big 3. They were right there. So I don't understand what they were thinking trading Russell away, unless Russell just wasn't happy there.
I mean, it's a business at the end of the day,
It's a business at the end of the day. Right.
I mean, so in terms of what you're saying right now, what do you think is the most surprising move? Because you're talking about Russell.
For me, that's the most surprising move. I don't know. I don't think they got enough back for him to make that trade make sense. And and I don't know. I just thought they had something going with those 3 guys.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I can't. Again, I feel like I'm agreeing with you on every point.
Yeah. It's a weird. I mean, they do what they need to do, and they could be right. I could be wrong. There could be more going on there. Denver traded Bones Highland. I think that was a shocking move.
Yeah.
He was a good backup point guard for
He's
Jamal Murray.
solid player. Yeah. Solid player.
But I was but he tweeted something interesting, where he talked about how great Nikola Jokic was.
Yeah.
Which is true.
That's true.
But he conspicuously left off Jamal Murray from all of that. He said there was one great player there in Nikola Jokic. So I think there might have been something going on with Jamal Murray and him, which might be why they got rid of him.
That's why he's no longer in Denver.
And that's why he's no longer in Denver. So I think a couple of sneaky pickups were the Clippers picking up Plumlee from the
Mason, right? Mason.
From Charlotte, from the Hornets. That'll get their center some rest, which is going to help them going into the playoffs, because I don't think they had any other big guys. And then they picked up Highland, he's a scorer. He can score off the bench for them. I think they unloaded Reggie Jackson, so they got younger.
Yeah.
With Highland, he's only in his second year.
So I asked you the question: what was the most surprising move in the trade. You know what I'm very surprised at?
My
John
guess is,
Wall.
going back to Houston.
Yeah, like he doesn't want to play there.
He does not want to play there. We went through this last year with him, I think.
It's crazy. John Wall is a
Yeah.
talent.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
obviously injuries curtail him a little bit. You know what I mean? But
Right.
it's like I think John Wall, he needs the right organization. And to be honest, I thought
Yeah.
Clippers were a good fit for him.
I thought there was going to be a good fit. I think what he needs is a coach. I'm thinking of Derrick Rose and how
Yeah,
his career was kind of derailed by injuries, and how
yeah,
he's on the Knicks with Thibodeau. He was in Minnesota with Thibodeau. He's kind of a guy that a coach could bring into an organization that could be another voice for that coach, either on the floor or in practice or something along those lines, where he could be putting guys in the right position, almost like a coach on the floor for the coach. And I think that's kind of why Derrick Rose is still with Thibodeau. I think he's a guy that echoes what Thibodeau wants him to echo
yeah.
and gets the right. And I think that's kind of what Wall is going to need to kind of be. And I don't know if he's ever had a coach like that. Right?
I mean, I don't
know who his
think
coaches
he has, to be honest.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I think he could be a guy that could really bring some of these younger guys into like an NBA fold, essentially. Teach them how to be in the league. Because I think John Wall learned how to be in the league on his own. He had some not issues off the court, but I just think that he learned how to keep himself in shape, and I don't think he had a mentor in the league, and I think he could be a good mentor for guys now. So, back to the trades, you were talking about Sunday. I think you had mentioned something about whether or not the Warriors were going to keep Gary Payton.
Yeah, that was.
They had till 9:30 on Sunday.
You beat me to the question.
Yeah. Well, what do you think it means for them to decide to keep Gary Payton, knowing he might not be able to play until the playoffs?
I mean, I actually like the decision.
Yeah.
Because you know what? What that shows me is like they like him as a player. They know what he does, and think about it. If you watched, the Warriors last year with GP.
Yeah. After he got hurt. After he got hurt, it was a different team, and when he came back, it was a huge boost for them.
Yeah, I actually like the move.
I think it's a great move if he can play.
And I believe the Warriors like filed some sort of motion or whatever to like get money because of because of his injury not being disclosed, yada yada. But anyways, at the end of the day, I like the move.
Do you think it says anything about anybody else on that team?
No, I don't believe so.
No.
I look at it this way: he is like you would call him a catalyst.
Yeah,
he's gonna make that team better. Like everybody, if you watched all these social media posts and things of that nature, everybody's like, "Oh man, GP's back," and they're showing footage of him getting his ring, and they're showing footage of him like playing or whatever.
Right.
They all like him, so it's a good look.
It's a good look. My question is about Jordan Poole.
I think Jordan Poole is going to get his buckets regardless.
Jordan Poole is going to get his buckets. I don't think it's about buckets. I think it's about defense. I don't think they're the same team with Jordan Poole defensively, and I don't think his buckets outweigh his deficiencies on defense.
So are you saying that you think that if GP and Jordan Poole are on the court at the same time, it's going to hurt the Warriors?
No, I think the Warriors were planning on Jordan Poole being like the next face of their organization kind of guy.
Yeah,
and I don't think he's that guy.
I disagree. I think I disagree with that one.
Yeah, you think that he's going to be?
Yeah, because first of all, Steph probably's got he's like on some Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. Like
I'm gonna play to him 62.
Yeah, he's got like at
play
least
till I
10 more
retire.
years. You know what I mean?
I mean, I hope so, but we can't be prisoners of the moment with LeBron.
No, you can't. You can't. But
It's impressive. LeBron being able to play at this level at 38 is impressive.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna leave that topic alone.
Yeah, I think that the Warriors are they needed more than just Jordan Poole, and I think they thought they had everything they needed with Poole.
I think that's why they let. Yeah, I
so that's why they let Gary Payton go, and that's why they brought him back.
Yeah. But then they realized, like, shit,
they needed him back. Yeah. That's my thought. I think that it's that's not a shot at Jordan Poole, but it's
no, it's not at all.
It gives you a better idea of what they think of Jordan Poole.
So let me ask you this:
mm-hmm.
Which team do you think has the most potential to make the finals, regardless of trades or whatever?
I'm gonna go with out of the West. I've still got Denver and Memphis. It's going to be one of those two.
So
teams.
You're saying you're not putting the Suns in there, even though they just acquired KD.
Yeah, I think I can give the Suns the next season. I think they got to play They got to play a little bit together. I think the West is still too tough. They got a long way to go to get back. They're going to have to go through the top teams just to get to the second and third round. I think it's going to be a long road for Phoenix to get there this year. Also, I think the depth that they sacrificed is going to be tough to overcome in the playoffs this year. Next year, I think they got a shot to add some pieces around everything. It's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough.
You just mentioned GP2 coming back to the Warriors. He's going to be at full strength. Playoff time.
Right.
And obviously, Steph's a little hurt right now, a little banged up.
Right.
Have you noticed Clay has been playing kind of a little bit crazy? Like he's been playing like Clay.
Clay's been going off. If there's a wild card for me out of the West, I think the team that can overcome whatever problems they've had all year, it's going to be the Warriors. Because they have the guys off the bench. You got Clay, who can get as hot as anybody in the league. You still got Draymond Green if he can keep a calm head. And then you got Curry. You bring in Gary Payton. You got Poole. They're the team that can do it. But and they seem to have Memphis's number, which is interesting. But I think if Steven Adams comes back healthy, and the way Jokic is playing, I still think Jamal Murray's a great player. I think they got the pieces, they got the depth. The Nuggets are my favorite to come out of the West. The way they're playing, Memphis would be the team I would think would have the next shot.
Okay,
Phoenix is up to fourth.
Yeah,
and then out of the East,
Memphis is bottom of the barrel for me.
You think Memphis is bottom of the barrel?
Yeah.
So you got Phoenix.
They're literally relying on Ja.
Yeah.
And I can't for some reason I don't know what it is. Like Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
He's starting to piss me off a little bit.
Yeah. They I watched that game on Sunday with Boston, and they're missing Steven Adams for sure. They play a little bit too much one-on-one. More so than they had been earlier in the year.
They have to.
Earlier in the year, they were moving the ball. Desmond Bane was having a great season. Still having a great season. He's averaging 21, 5 and 4, behind Ja Morant. He got banged up a little bit, and they kind of got away from what they had been doing to start the season. If they get back to that, I think they got a shot. I don't want to forget about the Clippers either. The Clippers could be a dark horse.
I don't know.
I might put the Clippers over the Warriors.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
It's I look at Kawhi and I look at Paul George.
Yeah.
These were when they both got together, when they got to the Clippers a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It was they were supposed to be the team.
Right. They haven't had a healthy season together.
They haven't.
This season could be
But
their season. I'm not going to count
technically,
Kawhi
they're
out.
both healthy now.
Yeah, and
So
they're starting to gel.
why aren't they like making waves though?
Because I think the way Kawhi approaches the season is just get through, get to the playoffs, and he's got another level in the playoffs.
Okay, all right.
And they're not Luka and Kyrie. They're complementary players.
Okay.
I think there could be a dark horse. I'm not saying they're going to do it, but it's going to be hard. It'll if they get into a series with Denver and it's 2-2, are you going to bet against Kawhi?
I will. Because I like Jamal Murray, and
I like Denver's my favorite team in the West. I agree.
Like if they're playing against Clippers, I'll take that team all day long.
Yeah, I think it could be interesting.
Jokic is a walking triple double as a center.
Right. Jokic is like a 7 foot tall Luka Doncic.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
I don't know if he's going to put up 60, but he can give you 40, 20, and 10.
He can. He definitely can.
It's yeah. What are you thinking about for the East? Because the East just got much more interesting to me.
Oh man, the East got so dismantled. The East.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Heat. I think to be
honest. Oh yeah.
The Heat or coming out of the East.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a two-team. It's a two-team race for me. Yeah, it's Milwaukee. It's like Milwaukee and Boston.
Celtics. I don't know if you're, if you're with the Heat, but
I like the Heat. Teams. I like the Heat, and I'm going to root for Jimmy Butler. He's got a chip on his shoulder. Yeah, and I'd like to see him get a win.
Jimmy Butler's had a chip on his shoulder, like when he was with the Bulls, or like
Bulls,
Jimmy Butler's had
Minnesota,
a chip on his shoulder for a
Phoenix,
long time.
Yeah. And Bam, I think Bam is a great player.
His year.
That's an interesting call. For me, it's Boston, Milwaukee. My dark horse is Cleveland.
Ooh.
I think Cleveland can get in the playoffs and cause some problems for some teams.
I'm not saying that they can't get the playoffs, cause problems, but no, I don't think they're a little too young.
They might be a little too young. They got two elite scorers.
I like Garland.
Garland, Mitchell. I like Evan Mobley. Jared Allen is having his best season. They got two big guys that can dominate. Where they don't. There's no other team that has anything similar. Everybody else has got one guy. What's that?
I do like their squad.
Yeah. If they're not competing this year for a late run in the playoffs, I think they got something coming.
Oh, I don't know if I told you, Mr. Donovan Mitchell. He went to my high school.
Oh, did he?
For I believe his first couple of years, and then he transferred.
Nice.
But
yeah, there you go. So you got to see him play at all, or?
No, not at all, because he's so much younger than me, obviously.
Right. But yeah, and I know you're down in Florida, and high school's up in Connecticut, so it's not like an easy commute.
Yeah, no, definitely not easy.
Well, you never know. You never know if you go back and check out a game if you're up that way. So if there's not much else to add, I think we can wrap up this first first episode of the first half of the NBA season.
That sounds like it works.
Yeah. Next time we'll just do a whole episode about LeBron breaking the record.
I'm not. I probably won't want to even be there.
You just check right out?
Yeah. I'm just going to sign in and I'll sign right off.
Right. That's exactly what I want. I want to hear your thoughts on LeBron's career.
Yeah, trust me, I have plenty to say.
We don't have to post it, but we can record it.
Listen, that would be, you're going to be like, all right, we're 3 hours in. We're still talking about LeBron.
Hey, tell me what you really think.
Yeah.
Next episode, we will recap the district game between your son and their rivals.
It's actually a regional game.
Regional game.
Correct.
We'll recap the regional game, which is the rematch of the district game.
Correct. There you go.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. Shit. If we can do it like with like some visuals. Yeah,
We can see if we can get some visuals up there. All right. We can see if we can get some visuals up there. We've got professional studios, right?
Yeah, we do. I think our studio is pretty professional.
Yeah. All right. I think that about wraps it up. Thanks for listening to the inaugural episode of the Starting Five
Starting
podcast.
Five.
Starting Five.
You got your boy Corey and you got your boy Brian.
Right. Check out the website for some merch.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap that up.
Yep.